Okay, Hare Krishna to everyone. Welcome to this morning's Bhagavad Gita session. We are reading from chapter 14th, entitled The Three Modes of Material Nature. So anyone would like to volunteer to share what you have learned, at least yesterday? In yesterday's shlokas.
Mataji, can I try, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Like in verse 10, we actually 10, 11 and 12, Krishna spoke about the modes of goodness, Rajogunam, Sattvagunam and Tamoguna. So he said mode of goodness, that is Sattva-guna. If a human is, if he has this Sattva-guna, the mode of goodness predominates an individual. And so he is very happy and knowledgeable and contentment is there. And verse 11, he spoke about Rajoguna, where when a mode of passion dominates a human being, he experiences a lot of desires, attachment. And in 12th verse, he spoke about the Tamoguna, mode of ignorance, where if ignorance predominates an individual, he exhibits confusion, delusion, and he also does not have, he lacks of understanding is there. And they also experience laziness, sleeplessness. And in 13, what Lord explains is when a body dies in a mode of goodness, the soul actually attains a higher planet, where there is a lot of knowledge and enlightenment. So when the body dies in the mode of passion, the soul takes birth, where there is a lot of desires and actions will be there. And when the body dies in a mode of ignorance, the soul takes birth in a lower realm, where darkness and delusion, and there is a lot of suffering which happens. Then in the 14th chapter, 14th, what Lord Krishna assures, that those who die in the mode of goodness will always stay, is always in a blissful state and is positive. And who dies in passion are born again to fulfill their desires. And those who die in the mode of ignorance are born in a lower species where suffering is prevalent. In verse 15, when one dies, in verse 15, Lord Krishna, one second, Mataji.
Same thing, Mataji. You already mentioned, what happens, okay. When one dies in the three modes is been explained in 14th and 15th shloka.
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
So
thank you, Mataji.
It is explained.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry if I was wrong.
No. You are right, Mataji. Just don't get confused with the text numbers, but
yeah.
Okay. It was correct. Thank you so much, Mataji. So
thank you, Mataji.
Further, so today we will start with text number 16. Okay. Anybody would like to volunteer to recite this shloka and translation also?
Can I, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Karmanaha sukratasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamashaha phalam. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery. And action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Should I continue with the purport, Mataji?
No, that's okay, Mataji. I'll explain.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thanks, Mataji. So here we have seen that, earlier to this, Krishna spoke about activities in three modes and also a destination after death in three modes. Now in the next three shlokas, Krishna describes the results of our activities in three modes. Okay, so in 16th shloka, Krishna is saying Here is this. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So here Krishna is saying, Karmanaha sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam. So what is he saying? He's saying, if our activities are in the mode of goodness, sattva guna, then we get sukruti. Then we attain piety. The result of those activities that are performed in mode of goodness is one gets piety or sukruti. And then rajas dukkham. So if our activities are in the mode of passion or rajoguna, then we get dukkham, misery. The results of that actions is just misery. Ajnanam tamasaha phalam. If our activities are in the mode of ignorance or tamoguna, then they result in foolishness. So here Prabhupada mentions that as far as as the mode of ignorance is concerned, the performer is without knowledge, and therefore all his activities result in present misery, and afterwards he will go on towards animal life. And then he also says that slaughtering the poor animals is also in the mode of ignorance. So why, like here Prabhupada is explaining one of the features of ignorance or tamoguna. What is that feature? Is to be insensitive or to be unkind towards other living entities. So animal killing and maintaining slaughterhouses, all these are products of tamoguna. Srila Prabhupada says that the grossest, here Prabhupada says here, cow slaughter is an act of the grossest type of ignorance. Why? Because actually cow gives us, nourishing food, which is nothing but a milk, which if we drink, it will actually refine our tissues, brain tissues, by which we can understand the spiritual knowledge very easily. That much, is there any other animal which, if we see out of all the animals, we see the urine and the stool of the cow is considered to be, the cow dung is considered to be very pure. The rest of the animals, urine or any other living entity, even you consider even our urine and our stool also is considered to be, is a waste. But the cows, the cow, when it urines and when the cow dung it gives, even that is considered to be pure. So cow is such a, that it is in the mode of goodness, that kind of animal. And if you slaughter that cow, it's a grossest type of ignorance. So what happens when a person is in a tamoguna or ignorance? Definitely that person is affected. Definitely he's affected. But when the ignorance becomes very intense or too gross, then they will also start harming others also. They don't mind harming others because they don't know what is right and what is wrong. Even if 10 people tell them now that what you are doing is wrong or not correct, still they will do it because they are in ignorance. So we see that nowadays, I don't know how many of you are seeing the news, but we see that there are living relationships going on and people are killing. The men are killing the women, and not only killing. In the previous days, we used to hear that the thieves will come and they will steal they will steal the things in the house by killing the people in the house. They would just stab them with the knife or something like that. But nowadays, the way the people are being killed is too much tamasic, too much in ignorance. They cut the person into some 100 pieces and then they'll store in the refrigerator or they boil in the cooker. I mean, these are all like more degraded consciousness. It's in the mode of ignorance. So we see how the people in the mode of ignorance, how they can act. they can degrade themselves. They are only not causing harm to themselves, but they are causing harm to others also in a very brutal way, in a very, very brutal way. So all these things happens when it is all because of animal slaughtering also, because the cow is not supposed to be worshipped, and when you start killing it and when you eat it which is not supposed to be eaten, and you will also gain those qualities. You will also gain the qualities like an animal, and you also perform the activities of an animal. So this is what Prabhupada is trying to explain in this purport, that about the features of ignorance or the tamoguna person. And Prabhupada further says the brahmanas are the symbol for spiritual knowledge. He says here that brahmanas are the symbol of spiritual education, and cows are the symbol of the most valuable food, which is milk. So these two living creatures, the brahmanas and the cows, must be given all protection, and that is called the real advancement of civilization. So these two, the brahmanas and the cows, has to be protected. Why brahmanas? Because brahmanas impart the spiritual knowledge by which we can put a full stop to our birth, old age, death, and disease. To this punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So it is a duty of the human civilization to protect the brahmanas and to protect the cows. So we can understand that how human society is advancing in the wrong direction, and it is clearing the path to its own condemnation, right? So civilization which guides the citizens to become animals in their next lives is certainly not a human civilization. And the present human civilization is grossly misled because of the people are in the mode of passion and mode of ignorance, and nobody is helping them to take up the process of mode of goodness, and also to transcend that mode of goodness to Shuddha Sattva, which is Krishna consciousness, so that we can save the humanity from the greatest danger. That is not happening, and this is how the world is going grossly misled by these modes of passion and ignorance. So Prabhupada emphasizes again and again that if one takes up to the process of Krishna consciousness, then we can overcome these modes of passion and ignorance, and then we can at least live a sattvic life in this human civilization. Otherwise it is going to be degraded so much that we cannot further live in this human society. It will become like that at one point of time. So we'll move on to the next shloka. So somebody raised a hand. Yasudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramada moha tamaso bhavato jnanam eva cha.
Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion.
You can read the purport also.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Since the present civilization is not very congenial to the living entities, Krishna consciousness is recommended. Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness. When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. In the mode of ignorance, people are just like animals and cannot see things clearly. In the mode of ignorance, for example, they do not see that by killing one animal, they are taking the chance of being killed by the same animal in the next life. Because people have no education in actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. To stop this irresponsibility, education for developing the mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. When they are actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober in full knowledge of things as they are. Then people will be happy and prosperous. Even if the majority of the people aren't happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness, and become situated in the mode of goodness, then there is the possibility for peace and prosperity all over the world. Otherwise, if the world is devoted to the modes of passion and ignorance, there can be no peace or prosperity. In the mode of passion, people become greedy, and their hankering for sense enjoyment has no limit. One can see that even if one has enough money and adequate arrangements for sense gratification, there is neither happiness nor peace of mind. That is not possible because one is situated in the mode of passion. If one wants happiness at all, his money will not help him. He has to elevate himself to the mode of goodness by practicing Krishna consciousness. When one is engaged in the mode of passion, not only is he mentally unhappy, but his profession and occupation are also very troublesome. He has to devise so many plans and schemes to acquire enough money to maintain his status. This is all miserable. In the mode of ignorance, people become mad. Being distressed by their circumstances, they take shelter of intoxication and thus they sink further into ignorance. Their future in life is very dark. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So here Krishna is saying, Satvat Sanjayate Jnanam. So he is saying that when someone works in goodness, what comes out? A knowledge comes out. The real knowledge develops. Rajaso Lobha Evacha. From mode of passion, greed develops. And Pramada Moho Tamaso. From Tamoguna, illusion, madness, and foolishness develops. Here, very beautifully Prabhupada, very beautifully Prabhupada has mentioned, how when he's mentioning that when the mode of goodness is developed, people can see things as they are, right? So when we have a knowledge in the mode of goodness, what happens? The person develops the discrimination, a real discrimination of what is good, what is not good, and what is right, what is not right, how he should behave, how he should not behave. All those things he will develop. So because of that, what happens? That he has that discrimination power, and because of that, he will not do any wrong things. The person who is in the mode of goodness, that person will not perform any wrong activities because he has a real knowledge. Then, and when it comes to the mode of ignorance, they cannot see the things clearly because they just after, they are just simply act like animals. Because the tamoguni person is, completely out of control. He does not, he's very irresponsible, he's neglectful. He doesn't even look into any, he's also greedy, and he does not know what he's doing, first of all. So that he's dull-headed, dull-minded, lazy fellow. So they don't show any enthusiasm in doing anything. But at the same time, a person who is in the mode of passion, he is always in the misery. Why he is in misery? Because he is not even enjoying what he is getting. He is doing a lot of hard labor to earn money. He thinks that, by getting money, I will get I will become happy. But he will never get happy. Even if he has enough money, he will never get happy. So we have seen, these examples. But Prabhupada mentioning that only when person takes up to Krishna consciousness, when he comes to the mode of goodness, when he takes up to Krishna consciousness, then he can, go beyond these illusory things and hankerings, and then he can become actually happy. How see in the scriptures also, example of Mrigari. If you take an example of Mrigari, he was a hunter. What he was doing, he was half killing the animals. So when one day when he was killing like that, Narada Muni sees, on his way, he sees that, there are animals which are lying, half dead. They are in the pain. And this hunter is not able to even understand the, the pain of other living entity. If he's supposed to kill, a hunter is supposed to kill the animals. Okay, he can just kill at once. But no, he's only doing half killing. So by doing that, he's not even having any feelings of compassion also. and not even feeling of kindness. But when Narada Muni has transformed him, when he told him to give up this occupation and just take up to Krishna consciousness, you see the same person who does not have a mercy at all, who did not show any mercy in killing the animals, but when after some time, after taking up Krishna consciousness, when Narada Muni comes, he sees that on the way, when he wants to pay obeisances to Narada Muni, he sees there is a lot of ants over there. So he takes his uttariya and then he starts removing the ants on the way so that they are not hurt. To that extent he becomes very sensitive. That is the result of taking up Krishna consciousness. That's why Prabhupada is emphasizing again and again that to transcend from the mode of ignorance and passion, one has to take up to Krishna consciousness. Otherwise one can never become happy. One can never become happy by being in the mode of ignorance or in the mode of passion. At least by coming to the mode of goodness, you will become sober, because they have some knowledge. They have they have good education. They understand, and they understand what gives happiness, what gives prosperity in the life. So they will not they will not degrade their own lives. By being in the mode of goodness, they can they also know that they can go back to the higher planets. But being in the mode of ignorance, one degrades down to the animal kingdom or to hellish planets. But whereas in the mode of passion, they'll remain in the middle planetary systems only. So this is what Krishna is saying to Arjuna, that if there is a mode of goodness, real knowledge will develop. From mode of passion, only greed develops, and from mode of ignorance, foolishness, madness, and illusion develops. So we will move on to the next shloka. Rohini Shetty Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, 1 second, Mataji. Mataji, Umaride,
Okay.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, I have a doubt. Can I ask now, Mataji?
Yeah, okay. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, you said that in the mode of goodness, the people will see the things as they are. That means they will not do any wrong activities. Which is that, Mataji? But they are in the process of self-realization. How to take that, Mataji?
Yeah, process. Yes, they have taken up to the process of self-realization, but who has completely taken up the process of Krishna consciousness, then they will see these, even in the mode of goodness, also binds a person. It's not that a person who is in the mode of goodness is free from faults. No, he also hooks upon to his opinions. If he says he's right, he cannot. He says this is only right. My way is highway. It is like that. They'll hook on to their own opinions. They'll not even go beyond the mode of goodness. When we go beyond the mode of goodness, what happens is, like, we see things more clearly. We see every living entity as a part and parcel of Krishna. That comes, later in the shlokas it comes, Gunatita. Krishna speaks about a Gunatita, the person who is above the mode of the three gunas, that person is called a Gunatita. And how that person acts, what are the characteristics of that person? It comes in the later shlokas, Mataji.
Okay, that means we are trying to be in part of the process of self-realization. We are trying. Yes, Mataji?
You mean to say that when you are in mode of goodness, you are saying?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, mode of goodness is in the Sattva Guna. In the Sattva Guna, you don't do any wrong things. You do right things, you follow scriptures. And by practicing the Sattva Guna for a long time, you will actually go beyond that mode also. You will come out of that mode, and then you will reach Shuddha Sattva.
Shuddha Sattva. Okay, Mataji. Clear. Thank you, Mataji.
Rohini Shetty Mataji, you can read this shloka.
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जगन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Purport,
Yeah,
Mataji?
you can read the purport also, yes.
Purport. In this verse, the results of action in the three modes of nature are more explicitly set forth. There is an upper planetary system consisting of the heavenly planets, where everyone is highly elevated. According to the degree of development of the mode of goodness, the living entity can be transferred to various planets in this system. The highest planet is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, where the prime person of this universe, Lord Brahma resides. We have seen already that we can hardly calculate the wondrous condition of life in Brahmaloka. But the highest condition of life, the mode of goodness, can bring us to this. The mode of passion is mixed. It is in the middle between the modes of goodness and ignorance. A person is not always pure, but even if he should be purely in the mode of passion, he will simply remain on this earth as a king or a rich man. But because there are mixtures, one can also go down. People on this earth in the mode of passion or ignorance cannot forcibly approach the higher planets by machine. In the mode of passion, there is also the chance of becoming mad in the next life. The lowest quality, the mode of ignorance, is described here as abominable. The result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. It is the lowest quality in the material nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life: birds, beasts, reptiles, trees, etc. And according to the development of the mode of ignorance, people are brought down to these abominable conditions. The word tamasaha is very significant here. Tamasaha indicates those who stay continuously in the mode of ignorance without rising to a higher mode. Their future is very dark. There is an opportunity for men in the modes of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mode of goodness, and that system is called Krishna consciousness. But one who does not take advantage of this opportunity will certainly continue in the lower modes. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So here, it's a beautiful shloka. Now here, what is the result of, what is the destination of those who are in Sattva Guna? When they do the activities, by performing the activities in the mode of goodness, what do they achieve? They go to the Urdhva Loka. Means Urdhva Loka is higher planetary systems. Like as Prabhupada mentioned, either Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, all those Swargaloka, Tapa, Jana, all that upper planetary systems. We have middle planetary system, upper planetary system, and lower planetary system. So they go the people who are in the mode of goodness, they go to the one of the upper planetary systems, depending upon their consciousness, depending on the level of goodness that they have achieved. If they have pure goodness, to the highest form of goodness, if they have, then they can reach to the Brahma Loka, where Lord Brahma is residing. And then Madhye Tishtanti Rajasaha. So those the people who perform the actions in the mode of passion, at the end of their life, they go to the middle planetary systems, like Prabhupada mentioned here, earthly planet. So people may come back like that they stay here like kings. The example given is like the kings. They have so much of passion, and they may have desires. The people who are in the passion, they hold desires. They will have a lot of desires to achieve something, and because of those desires, they get hooked to that, and because of those desires, they come back to this material world again to enjoy for their sense enjoyment, to fulfill their sense enjoyment. And then the last is Jaghanya Guna Vrittista Adho Gachanti Tamasaha. So because Tamoguni people, now this is about Tamoguni, the Tamoguni people, because they perform nonsensical activities or abominable activities, they glide down to hellish planets. That's the meaning of this shloka. So we see, like, once Prabhupada, he was walking in one of the beaches. So in the morning walk he was doing in one of the beaches, he was walking in the beach, and then he saw one man was going in the ocean, and then he's just staying there, and he's enjoying that being in the water for a very long time. So Prabhupada was looking at that fellow for a long time, and then the Prabhupada disciples who were there around him, so they said, Prabhupada, this man is just diving into that water, and he's enjoying diving in the water. So some people are there in the West that they like to be in the water. So Prabhupada was felt very bad. He said, I'm feeling so bad for this person. Why? Because Prabhupada said, this person, developing a desire to enjoy the water, to be in the water, he's actually inviting the new body. In the next life, he's going to be born as a fish. He's gliding down to the lower species. Now he is in the human body, but he wants a animal body because of his desire to be in the water. You see, so these are the things which will glide us. Like that's why Prabhupada mentioned here, from mode of passion, it can even the mode of passion can glide down to mode of ignorance also, because you are in the tatastha, so you can either elevate yourself to the mode of goodness, or you can come to the mode of ignorance also. So being in this human body also, because of developing wrong desires within ourselves, we will get attached to those modes, and because of those attachment to the modes, we will get bound to those modes, and we act in those modes, bound by those modes, and then we end up getting a body which is not actually degraded than the human species. So this is the danger that of our desire. So we should be very, very careful about what we are desiring, and we should be conscious which mode is acting on us. That also comes in the next shloka. We can see how we can understand what mode is acting upon us. Okay, so
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. But what about people who just go, like, who want to go for a swim or something like that? The pool or even the sea.
Yeah, going to swimming pool is not bad. Actually, Prabhupada mentioned that he says that 3 things one should always know. Every living entity, one is like swimming. They should know, because if they are in the water, they should save themselves. Swimming, one should know. Cooking, they should know. And driving, they should know. So these 3 Prabhupada said we should know. But it is only to live, not as a hobby. Not like some people will be there, they for every holiday they go to the beaches and they just stay inside the water, they dive into the water, they do skydiving, and so many things are there. I don't even know what are that called, what are those things called, but yeah, they just wear the life jackets, and then they just go and they try to take a lot of adventures also within the water. Such kind of things with passion, if you just develop such things, then it means that you are actually developing
Desire
to become a animal in the next life, especially like fish or some aquatic animal.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Understood. Yeah.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Cooking, driving, and swimming, is it? What are the 3 things?
Cooking, driving, and swimming.
Driving. Okay.
Yeah. Now Kishwari Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. May I read?
Yes, please.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति मद्भवां सोऽधिगच्छति. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work, then three modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes. He attained my spiritual nature. Purport. One
No,
can
Mataji,
transcend.
purport is not required. I'll
Okay.
explain. I'll explain for this.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Dhanwad Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. So now in the last 18 shlokas, Krishna described the characteristics of three modes. He spoke on how these modes affect different living beings, and he also spoke what is the destination of such people after the death, and he also spoke the results of the activities. And now he spends rest of the chapter on how to transcend these material modes. He will explain how to go beyond the material modes. That's the subject matter of the remaining chapter. So from 19 to 27 shlokas, the theme is about transcending the material modes. So one who has transcended the material modes, that person is called as Gunatita. Guna Atita means guna means mode. The guna is a rope or a mode. One goes beyond that material mode is Atita, Gunatita. So now let us see the characteristic of such a person. So now Krishna here saying Nanyam, na anyam gunebhya kartaram. So he's saying when one sees that there is no other performer other than the material modes, he is actually Gunatita. Means what? When one properly sees that kartaram means activities. When one understands that the activities, karta means the doer. Who is the doer of all activities? We discussed earlier also. We know that Prakriti is the performer. Before that, let me finish this. The second two lines. Gunebhyascha paramveti ma madbhavam sa so digachati. So such a person who goes beyond the gunas, who can see that he's actually activities are being performed by the modes of nature. That person is considered to be Gunatita, and such a person who goes beyond the gunas, and that person will attain Madbhavam. Madbhavam means Krishna is saying he will attain Krishna's planet, my spiritual nature. So it is Krishna's planet. So let's go deeper into this shloka. So na anyam gunebhya kartaram. So karta means the doer, and who is the doer of all the activities? It's a Prakriti, the material nature, right? The jiva is the doer of the activities, because actually the jiva is the Prakriti, the material nature is the performer, but the jiva being in the material world, he does the activities because of the desire, because so desire make him the doer, but actual action is carried out by whom? By Prakriti only. How? Because Prakriti has three modes: Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. So Prakriti carries out actions through these three modes. Some actions and results of those actions are in mode of goodness. Like if someone is showing compassion to someone, or showing or kindness to someone, or if they are giving some food to someone, or if they see some small boy without clothes, they may give their clothes to that person. So they are showing some mode of goodness, right? That is an action, and the result is being mode of compassion, mode of kindness. He develops thought that I should give him something, and just not developing the thought, but he also acts on that thought, and he gives something in return out of kindness. He may give some food, or he may give some money, or he may give some cloth, whatever. So that is the result of action which is performed in the mode of goodness. Actually, what this has been done by Prakriti only through that Sattva Guna, through that mode of goodness. So, for example, if someone is killing the animal, and he is taking out the flesh. This act is also has been done by the Prakriti through Tamoguna. Through the Tamoguna. So like this, Prakriti will perform an action through one of the modes or by the combination of these three modes. So one who observes that all these activities are being done by the Prakriti, by the influence of three modes, is in actual knowledge. And one who has this knowledge, that person will transcend the three modes. Say, for example, one person does a nonsensical activity. Okay, then I observe, I evaluate, I judge, I develop some grudge upon that person, and there's a negativity towards that person. That means what? I am also being influenced by some guna. See, observation is fine, evaluation is also fine. If we are, but maintaining grudge and maintaining too much of anger and responding to them in an impulsive manner, that means we are coming under the modes. So what happens to the Gunatita person or a great person, great devotees? What do they do? The great devotees who are Gunatita, who are beyond the material modes, who are beyond these three modes, what they do, they may analyze the situation of the world and they will understand that this person is pure. He is a soul, he is an amsha of Krishna, part and parcel of Krishna, and potentially he is a devotee of Krishna, but this person is influenced by Maya and Maya's gunas. So these bad activities is carried out through this person by the gunas. So to rectify that person's mentality or to reduce that person's association with these modes, he may take some action, but he will not show any grudge on that person. If I develop hatred or envy or some grudge on that person, then I am also coming under some mode. Like for example, same case, if we consider the same example of Mrigari case, if Narada Muni would have also thought, this person is a hunter, no, he has to be punished. So then will there be any transformation for Mrigari? No, right? So there is no transformation for Mrigari at all. But what happened? Like Narada Muni could see the potential, potentially he could understand that this is also a soul, part and parcel of Krishna. I need to change his, his association of modes. If I transform, if make that person's association of modes, if I make him reduce the association with the modes of material nature, then he can also become potentially a very good devotee. So he understood that, this person is just a puppet in the hands of these material modes, and ultimately, these modes are also coming from Krishna, and let me help that person. This is how Gunatita person will think. So when a person in that stature is there, that person will transcend all these modes, and because he transcends all the three modes of material nature, he attains the spiritual abode, attains the spiritual nature. He again goes back to Krishna. So we may say that, when we are doing all activities, then do we think that, is it correct to say that, okay, we may do some wrong things, right things, and whatever it is, and then we say, no, I am not acting anything. I am only acting under the influence of three modes of material nature. It's not me. So you should not blame me for my activities. I am only under the clutches of three modes. Is that correct? No, right? No. Krishna says no. No. Krishna says no. He himself says no. He says it's you who is choosing. The choice is given to you. The choice is given to you. Like, there are 3 floors. Consider there are 3 floors, and there's a liquor shop in the first floor. And in the second floor, there is a movie theater or something like that. And the third floor, there is there's a temple. So a person entering into that mall or whatever it is, that he has a choice to go in one of these 3 floors. if a person does not want to go to a liquor shop, he need not go. But a person who has a desire to enjoy, he wants to drink and all that, then that person may go to the liquor shop. But otherwise, the person in the mode of goodness will not even look at the liquor shop. If you see, actually, in the US and even in Europe, there are ISKCON temples where it is actually in the midst of so much of passionate and ignorant shopping malls, okay, in downtown area, where like people are so passionate. Even where Bauri is a place where like Prabhupada was staying, all are drug addicts. But Prabhupada has created a small front store where like, people are coming and hearing the lectures of Prabhupada. So we have a choice. You have a choice either to choose which mode you want to go, depending on the choice that you make, depending on the desire that you develop. And that's why it is said that, between A and B, there is A and D, there is a B, C, between birth and death, there is always a choice. So Maya Devi is always there with these three gunas, and she also supplies the goods that human being wants. But these goods, the attraction to these goods keeps changing according to our age, right? Like when we are a small children, when we see a balloon, we cry for the balloon. But when you grow up to a teenager, when you see a balloon, will you cry for it? Which you are mad after that when you are a small kid. Now you don't have that craving for that balloon. You have a different interest now. After you are married, you have children, you have a profession. What attracts you is money. Money is honey. So attraction is keep on changing based on the age. So the important point to understand is, why are these modes acting on us? Why are we trapped within the three modes? Who is at fault? The answer is we ourselves are at fault. Our own impure desires has invited the three modes to act upon us. We are accountable for everything that we think or we do. We must be aware of the reactions of our action. If we attach to sense pleasure, it will only lead to pain and suffering. So this is what we should understand. So the three modes of material nature are very powerful, and we have to strongly desire to get out of it. Impure desire means what? Like using our senses in our own sense gratification. So and foolishly what we do, we desire to hurt ourselves by denying what is really good for us, and we engage our senses and what is really good for us. If we engage our senses and our intelligence in the service of the Lord, then we will not get into all that all these modes, and we will not go into that suffering mode at all. So this is very important. Like even Prabhupada says in the last shloka, in this verse itself, in this chapter itself, Prabhupada talks about, due to the association of these three modes only, the desire to dominate the material world will develop. But how it can be overcome? By engaging ourselves in the process of devotional service. By becoming fully Krishna consciousness, we can actually overcome these modes, and we can engage ourselves in loving transcendental devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Okay, so we'll go to the next.
Mataji, you said those three floors. Top one is temple, middle one is liquor shop, bottom one is which one? This for better understanding, preaching.
Is a movie theater or some mall or something like that.
Okay,
I mean, this is where the passion, like people want a lot of attractive things like that.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, one thing. Now see, if we get something from out, now normally we are not supposed to eat from outside, right? Now these chevras and things, those packaged things, the dry stuff, when you bring and come, then are we in the mode of passion? Does that come under that?
Actually, anything that is packed food is not good, actually, because like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, any food which is beyond 3 hours is not sattvic, right? So we should understand that if it is there in the packed food for a long time, it means that it's a mode of ignorance. Food only, either mode of passion or ignorance, it comes under that category only, but it is not mode of goodness. But when you eat that, yeah, you will have some influence of that. You got the point, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Padma Mataji, I think she's on mute. Padma Mataji?
I think Redmi or something.
Yes, she
I
is on
think
mute.
she is not there. She lost her connection.
Okay.
She's there, Mataji.
Is there?
Yeah, I think she's talking on mute. I don't know. Okay, Mataji, you carry on. She'll come
I'm
back.
not talking to anybody. I'm not talking to anybody. I can't. I don't know.
Mataji, did you hear what did I say?
Yes, Mataji, I heard what you said.
Okay.
Now I'm on unmute. I'm good to unmute.
Okay. Okay, so Subbarao Prabhu, can you read this 20th
Yes,
shloka?
Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Nametan gunanetanati nitya Trin dehi deha samudbhavan Janma mrityu jara dukkha.
I can't hear.
When embodied being is able to transcend associated with a material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Purport also, shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. You can read, Prabhu.
The Sanskrit word Dehi means embodied. Although one is within this material body, by his advancement in spiritual knowledge, he can be free from the influence of the modes of nature. He can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life even in this body, because after leaving this body, he is certainly going to the spiritual sky. But even in this body, he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the sign of liberation from material entanglement, and this will be explained in the 18th chapter. When one is freed from the influence of the modes of material nature, he enters into devotional service. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So here, in this shloka, Krishna is saying, when the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and all distresses, and also can enjoy, not only that, can enjoy the nectar even in this life. So he is talking about the people Gunatita, but Gunatita not only after giving up this body, but being in this material world only. So Krishna is speaking, what will happen? Even while staying in this material world, which is filled with material modes, which is operated by material nature, we can still stay aloof from the modes of material nature, these three modes. By what? By taking shelter of Krishna, by performing bhakti. This is the essence of the shloka. Okay. So someone actually, they go beyond the modes, although he is living in this world, which is made of modes, he is unaffected. So when he is beyond the modes, even if the modes are acting on him, he becomes unaffected. It's like a person who is visiting a jail, not as a criminal, but as a visitor only. Like criminals are put in jail and they are subjected to all the punishments according to the rules and regulations of the jail. But when one goes to visit there, or one goes to do book distribution, or one goes to do counseling session for them, or a jailer when he visits, or some government official visit for some survey and all that, they are not subjected to, those people are not subjected to the punishments that is being given to the criminals there, right? Similarly, a person who is taking shelter of Krishna, he is beyond the influence of the moods. Why? Because Krishna himself says, Daivi esha gunamayi mamamaya duratya mamaye prapadyante mayam etan tarantite. So Krishna himself says, one who takes shelter of me, those stays in this material world, is unaffected by the material moods. So it's like carrying umbrella while it is raining. So we are carrying a umbrella of Krishna's shelter. But even though when the three modes of material nature is actually binding us here in this material world. So very nice analogy has been given that it is said that our material desires are like ripples in a river that will never stop. That will never stop when the right, like you see when you go to a river, and if you see a lot of ripples on the river, so these ripples on the river are like our material desires, which will never stop. But when the river is flowing, usually all rivers flow to the ocean, right? So when they go towards the ocean, what happens? The ripples of river will become prominent? No, right? They become vanished. And what becomes prominent there? The waves of the ocean becomes dominant. So here the conditioned soul is compared to a river, and material desires are compared to the ripples of the river. Ocean is compared to the guru, and the desire to serve the guru is compared to the waves of the ocean. So when a conditioned soul, which is compared to a river, is on its own, which is filled with material desires, it is bound with the modes of nature. But when it goes into the ocean, when it goes and takes the shelter of Guru, and under the direction of Guru, when he does a service unto Supreme Lord, what will happen? Then the waves of ocean, the desires of Guru will become the desires of a conditioned soul. Then he will only see to it that all the desires of the Guru are fulfilled. And when that comes, then that's the way to transcend the modes. Then he's transcending the material modes, because the waves of this ocean will, where it will take us to the shore at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So we will reach, and we will go beyond the modes. We'll transcend the modes. Now, after hearing all this, Arjuna has a question. So he asks a question to Krishna now. Okay, so we will read this shloka. Who will recite? Any volunteer? Yes, Mataji.
I'll decide, Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Ready?
Okay,
yeah, please go ahead, Mataji.
Okay. 14.21. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna vacha kailingais tringunan etan atito bhavati prabhu kim acharah tatam chaitams tringunan ativartate. Translation. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature? Purport, can I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
In this verse, Arjuna's questions are very appropriate. He wants to know the symptoms of a person who has already transcended the material modes. He first inquires of the symptoms of such a transcendental person. How can one understand that he has already transcended the influence of the modes of material nature? The second question asks, how he lives, and what his activities are. Are they regulated or non-regulated? Then Arjuna inquires of the means by which he can attain the transcendental nature. That is very important. Unless one knows the direct means by which one can be situated always transcendentally, there is no possibility of showing the symptoms. So all these questions put by Arjuna are very important, and the Lord answers them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So now here, Arjuna is saying here that Krishna, you're speaking about Gunatita, so the one who has transcended the modes. So he wanted to know, now he is asking, may I know his symptoms? What are the characteristics of a person who is beyond the modes, who has transcended the modes? And how does his behavior, achara, what is his achar? What is his behavior? And what is the process of transcending the modes? Why? Because he also wants to, transcend the modes. That's why he is asking what are the qualities and behavior of Gunatita and how I can become Gunatita. These are the three questions which Arjuna is inquiring from Krishna. So if you recall, Arjuna also inquired similar question in the previous chapters about Sthita Prajna. What Sthita Prajna do, how does he sit, how does he talk, and how does he walk. Similarly, he is asking about Gunatita also here. Okay, now in further shlokas, Krishna will gives the answer. He'll answer the questions to Arjuna. Okay, so we'll end here. Any questions or any comments further? Okay, if nothing, thank you so much for all your patient hearing. Panchakalpatarubhyasya Kripasindhubhyo Patitanam Vandanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavindi ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji.
Very nice explanation, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Mataji, Kannada session, Mataji, ICF Mataji, I don't know your name, so sorry.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, anyway, I will end the session because live is going on. Anyway, you have to come.
Yeah. Okay. You can end. I'll again log in. Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mataji.